did Claude just hit the panic button? Because 1 week after Gemini 3 dropped and broke the internet, Opus 4.5 suddenly appeared out of nowhere. It feels like the engineers at Anthropic saw Gemini's benchmarks and absolutely freaked out. But does a panic launch mean it's actually better? Let's test their capabilities. We built a Flappy bird clone with Mike Tyson as the main character, an Apple-style ultra-clean to-do list app, and a fully automated no-code workflow. I genuinely had fun while making this video, and I hope you have the same fun watching it. That said, let's get into the video. Let's start with Gemini. We kicked things off with something completely ridiculous but technically telling. I asked both models to write a single HTML file that runs a fully playable clone of Flappy Bird. But with a twist, the bird had to be a sprite of Mike Tyson. Now, I know this sounds like a meme, but it absolutely tests how the AI handles collision logic and asset replacement on the fly. That said, let's see how Gemini does. Also, I've clicked on canvases because I want to see the output side by side. I have already made a video on Google Gemini 3 and tested its capabilities. If you haven't watched it yet, I highly suggest you click on the link above and watch it. Gemini gets to work with coding. Let's see the output. Gemini 3 came out swinging. It gave me a game that was genuinely fun, very beginner friendly, and nailed the jump mechanics. When you hit the spacebar, the gravity just felt right, and it lets you actually rock up a high score. It's very beginner friendly, and this is solid, no complaints. Although I'm not sure if the sprite looks like Mike Tyson. Feels a little bit racist, but that said, in terms of the game and in terms of the animation, the working, the UI, I like it. So we are going to give Gemini a solid 8 out of 10. That said, let me try getting a high score on this. And we have scored 40. I like the animation as well, the knockout with the red background. Let's click on rematch and see if it remembers my best score. Great, the memory function is baked in as well. That said, let's see what Claude does. Anthropic released Opus 4.5 a week after Gemini 3 was released. I think they realized that they had to put out something, considering the world was going gaga over Gemini 3. That said, this is the first time I'm testing Opus 4.5 when it comes to game creation or app creation. So I'm equally excited and curious to see how this goes. That said, let's press enter and see what Claude gives us. Alright, Claude stepped into coding way quicker than Gemini. Let's see how the final output looks. Well, Claude's output is flashy but very accurate to the original Flappy bird. And as you can see, it says, "Help Iron Mike fly through the pipes." And everyone has a plan until they hit the pipe. That is creative. Full marks on the creativity side. Well, let's play the game and see how it feels. Oh my, is that Mike Tyson? Why is tooth cap, a black guy, and 2 red gloves present? Would I play this game? 100%. I think this is my new favorite game and might end up playing it every day. Here's Claude's version. Claude didn't just code the game, it understood the assignment first. The game feel is punchier, way more accurate to the original Flappy Bird, and the Mike Tyson emoji implementation is a banger. It felt like a developer with a sense of humor actually wrote it. It does not feel like it was code generated by an AI. Well, for that, Claude takes the belt here with an 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 because of that extra layer of polish and attention to detail. Alright, in the second round, we are going to be creating a 3D landing page for Nebula Coffee using Three.js. I want a giant floating coffee bean that spins when I scroll, set against a moving star field. Now, Three.js is basically a tool that helps you create cool 3D stuff right in the web browser. Imagine you want to show a 3D model or make a little game where things can move around in 3 dimensions. That's what Three.js is great for. It's kind of like a paintbrush for 3D graphics on the web, and it uses something called WebGL behind the scenes to do heavy lifting. So simply put, Three.js is all about making cool 3D visuals in a browser. That said, I've entered the prompt and let's see what result we get. And wow, here's Gemini's output, and it exactly gave us what we prompted it. As you can see, the particles are moving towards us. The supposed squares are stars, and I really like the animation. We scroll down. Alright, there's a glow behind the CTA button. Asteroid belt crunch, cryo brew, solar flare. Join the crew, enter your email. Let's see if the buttons work. Yup, it doesn't work. Anyways, that can be solved easily by some additional prompting. This looks like a site a professional website designer built. And this being generated in a matter of minutes, yeah, mind blowing. I would rate this site a solid 8.7 out of 10. Yep, it is that impressive. Now let's paste the prompt into Claude Opus 4.5 and see what it gives us. What do you think, guys? Do you think it'll win again? Here's Claude's output for a 3D site, and first impressions, this does not look like a coffee bean. However, instead of squares, we actually have star-like circles. And I really like the font as well. And I like the line which is moving as we scroll. Born from stardust, perfected in darkness. 0G cultivation. Oh, there's a glow. Okay. Well, quantum sealed. Ready for liftoff. Begin your journey. Nebula coffee. This is very classy, but the bean is not accurate. And as you can see, there's a line in between the bean. I don't know for what that is. Let's see if it's given a proper reasoning for that. Nope. Yeah, that must just be an error. But as for the premiumness of the site, I do like it. But I'm going to give the dub to Gemini. Although this is very classy and it appeals to the premium coffee brand vibe, Explore is not aligned to the center. Small stuff, but yeah. Begin your journey. It takes us to a link. I don't know where this link is taking us to. I'm just not gonna go there. Claude here was trying to be fancy and breaking things, so I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Round 2 goes to Gemini. Let's move on to round 3. We just created a 3D website. Now let's create a simple app. The app is nothing but a working mobile app for tracking habits that looks like it was designed by Apple in 2030. Let's press enter and see what happens. Alright, Gemini has given us an output, and right off the bat you can see that something went wrong. There was a problem when running your code. Let's just click on fix error. Alright, Gemini has apparently fixed the error, and let's see the app's working now. Daily kinetic. Okay, it scrolls. Deep focus. Oh wow, the click gets completed. I like the animation, even though I don't agree with the current color scheme, and as you can see, the percentage is increasing as well. Perfect. 33. Night work. And then let's add a task. Reading. Initialize. As you can see, reading. Enter 100. 75. Wow. Calendar. This is not working as of yet. Settings is also not working, whereas adding a task and clicking on complete is really smooth. Also, we can prompt to change the color scheme, so that is not a big issue. Overall, I like this app, and I would give it a solid 8.8 out of 10. Very strong, very solid performance by Gemini. Now let's see if Claude can keep up with this. Alright, let's enter the same prompt into Claude as well. Round number 1 was won by Claude, and round number 2 was won by Gemini. Who do you think will take this round? Let's see. Alright, Claude started to code faster than Gemini. Let's see the output. What is this? I think it's tried to emulate the screen of a mobile, but there's a weird dynamic island cut out on top for no reason. Okay, well, the app is absolutely not working. I'm trying to click on everything. The time, the battery, my username. Nothing is working in the app, and it's not even scrolling down. The scroll isn't working. Let's click on this. The calendar inside the task is dancing. The back button works. Yep, the calendar dancing again. Then I'm trying to find the add task field. There we go. Wow, just hidden somewhere in the corner. Well, let me try to enter. I wasn't allowed to type. You know how I type these letters? I had to click my touchpad and the letter together. And guess what that did? Yep, it invoked my sticky keys. As you can see, we struggled to type there. I literally had to click the touchpad and the letter at the same time. So far, not so good. Not so good at all. Actually, so far so bad is what I should be saying. But since we gave Gemini a chance to redeem itself, I feel like we should do the same for Claude. But here we go, we have created the task, but the catch is we're not able to scroll and see if the task is created. Yeah, I mean, Claude, I really expected better from this, considering its coding capabilities, but no problem. Let's give it another try. I'm not going to tell what errors it's supposed to fix. I'm going to be very vague and just tell, hey, listen, I found a lot of errors, fix those errors. Let's see what it does. We have got the same output again, but somehow it's even worse. The hole punch camera, it's still there. I don't know for what reason. And we've got new options all the way to the bottom, which we cannot even access. I have no idea why Claude is behaving like this. Bad boy. Ah, wow, the dance again. Weird text complete for today, that's not working. Oh, and it worked. There's a lot of lag as well. Yeah, I think I've seen enough, guys, and I'm gonna rate Claude a 4.5 for effort. 4.5 because I was initially confused if I should give it a 4 or 5 for effort. But I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 10. And I don't know why, I don't know how, but I expected Claude to just blow Gemini out of the water in terms of coding apps and websites, but it seems like we have a new king. That said, let's move on to the next round and see if Claude can redeem itself. Alright, this one's for the AI automation, low code, no code tools fans, and here's the prompt. Create an N8N workflow that monitors my Gmail for emails with urgent in subject, extracts key details using AI, and posts a summary to Slack. Let's press enter. So for this, we have to download the workflow and test it in N8N, which we'll be doing in a second once we get the output. Alright, we have got our output and it's given us an action plan on what we are supposed to do to ensure that this workflow works in N8N. Alright, here's the workflow. I'm just gonna copy it and paste it in N8N. Let's see what type of a workflow this gives. Alright, we are currently in N8N and let's paste the result that we got from Gemini. Alright, the first trigger and the last node are accurate, but the one in the middle is wrong. I think it tried adding the OpenAI chat model, but it ended up with this. Confession time. I have used Claude to build N8N workflows in the past, and it has always done a very good job. It takes me always, and pretty sure it'll take you if you prompt it right, from 0 to 70% in building your workflow. That said, let's see if Opus 4.5 achieves that result or goes above and beyond. I think it'll stay at the same level. That said, here's Claude building your N8N workflow. Alright, just a quick tip. The reason why I've got very good results in the past was I used something called projects in Claude, where you can upload certain files, where essentially if you ask a question, the AI will go through its own memory and the files that you've attached and then give the necessary relevant output. So I attached my GitHub account and I pulled in information from the GitHub repo of N8N. That way, the AI knows what type of nodes exist, how to create workflows, and all the good stuff. That said, let's see how it does for this particular prompt. Claude has given us a result, and as you can see, it's way more detailed than Gemini. It has given us a flowchart as well, which is very good. Alright, let's copy this and paste it into N8N and see what we get. Let's paste the JSON code into N8N to see what type of a result Claude gave us. Press enter and well, alright, let me just space this out a little bit. Gmail trigger, every minute message received, 100 emails only. Okay, the urgent, I think it's here. Contains urgent, this is also right. Convert to plain text, HTML to markdown. Very good, because the data which comes from a Gmail node will be in HTML, although we could have done these two steps to get using a code node. And as you can see, it's biased and given its own AI model. Okay. So after this, there should be an AI agent and then we can hook this up because it's not getting connected to this, as you can see. So let's go to AI and post AI agent, and yeah, now we can connect the chat model as Claude. So we can rewrite this email however we want it to be given to us in Slack. So there's a problem with the error handler node, but this is way better than Gemini's output, and I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. Guess why? Because it's taken us from 0 to 70%. That said, if you had to take help of an AI to build your workflow in no-code tools, use Claude. I've used Claude in the past, And even here, right now, when I'm testing Claude 1, this round is going to be a little bit of tricky math, where we test the reasoning skills of Gemini and Claude. Alright, first, let's see what type of result we should get from the AI. And here in the problem, it gives us that a bat and a ball cost $1.10 in total. But first, for you all to understand, let's simplify this. Let's say a bat and a ball together costs $100. Now let's say that the bat costs $90 more than the ball. So the price of the bat would be $90 more than that of the ball. Now, this is the first equation, and now we've got a second equation. And in the second equation, we can see that bat is equal to 90 plus ball. So we're going to substitute the value of bat in the second equation to the first equation. So then it becomes 90 plus ball is equal to 100. As you know, when a number goes from the LHS to RHS, the sign of the number will change. So plus 90 will become minus 90. So 100 minus 90 would be 10. And ball would be 2 ball. Now the value of each ball would be 10 divided by 2, which is 5. And in the first equation, we can see that the bat and ball together were 100 rupees. So let's substitute the value of ball. So it becomes bat plus 5 is equal to 100. So the value of bat would be 95, which satisfies our condition. If you've understood this, let's come to an actual problem. And I think we'll get our answer fairly quickly in these two. As we have already discussed the solution, we know what to expect. And let's see what it gives. Ting, ting, ting. We got the right answer. Now let's see the explanation though. Many people intuitively answer 10 cents, but that is incorrect. If the ball costs 10 cents, the bat, which is $1 more, would cost $1.10. Together they would cost $1.20, which contradicts the problem. To solve this correctly, we can use simple algebra. Define your variables, P be the cost of the ball, A be cost of the bat and ball together cost. Same thing what we did. I don't think I have to rate this output. It's pretty easy to understand, so Gemini did the job. Alright, let's see what Claude does. Honestly, for this type of problem, Claude Sonnet would have been enough, but here I am wasting my credits and my money. So for me to financially recover, please do subscribe. Thank you. Okay, this was way faster than Gemini, and as you can see, Claude essentially did the same thing. That said, we've come to the end of the video. So who actually won? If you're a coder or an automation geek building workflows in N8N, Claude Opus 4.5 is still edging it out on logic and internal game mechanics. But if you're a creator, a designer, or someone who needs valid working code for apps, websites, fast, without fighting sticky keys or broken UI, Gemini 3 is scary good right now. It recovered from errors faster and understood visual content way better. That said, if you like this video, please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care and peace.
Please subscribe, whatever.